Mr. Antree K. He is a project manager at Bosco Vocational Training Institute in Rourkela, Odisha. He is in charge of welding skills development, training, and recruitment. He specializes in welding safety and development potential skills for welding processes and safe welding operations. His keen interest in welding enabled him to broaden his skills and provide a variety of welding training activities. Today, Mr. Antree will discuss certification programs available for welding process and welders. Delegates, let's welcome Mr. Antree K.
This program is on welder certification. I will be also mentioning something on what we can do with regard to upgradation of the skills and some weld certification and some company certifications. So what are the available certifications in the market and how we can proceed in that line? So technical skills need to be certified and approved prior to its application. This is the kind of a premise, the basic premise that all industries, all welders, all technicians, engineers, all those who are working in this particular industry should know. Because this technical skills certification is very, very important in order to match up to the international standard. And they not only this welder or any personnel who is working in this area, they need not only should be certified, these certification should be approved by the particular projects or that particular programs in which they are applied. You have one kind of certification and you work in one particular project, it need not be then approved certification program in that particular project. So it gets every now and then it gets changed depending on the industry, the type of the process, type of the material, type of the customer demands and so on. So that way certification is going one side and the approval of it on the other side before it is getting applied into the end product. So this is the very, very important premise that we all should keep in mind. And we can achieve all these certifications through standard routes. There are all standard procedures going straight away from we are like you study school, you go for higher secondary, you go for engineering, or you go for ITI, or you go for diploma and other certification program. Or alternative routes, which means depending on your personal experience and skills that you have gained in this particular area, then you can go for alternative routes and get the certification. So these are the standard procedures through which you get the certification. So now speaking about the welder certification, this is the worker level programs that India that is followed. So generally after their high school studies in India, after 8th standard also learning of welding is allowed. So generally if you take 10th standard or plus 2 level, they go for a standard route in which you go for learning welding. So the standard certification that is available in the country is ITI welder, Industrial Training Institute welder. It is provided by the Labour and Employment Department by National Council for Vocational Training. So it's an NCVT certification for 1 year in which a student gets sufficient training in order to become a certified welder, which is accepted by the almost all the Indian industries, even India and abroad. But it's a very basic platform to become a welder. After which, normally in India, these welders, they go for a 1 year of apprenticeship training program. With that, they become a standard welder. This is the general welding program, the welder training certification program that is available. Other than that, we have other government bodies or non-governmental or semi-government bodies. For example, we now in India, the major skill certification program is done by sector skill councils. We have around 22 of them. So in that, mainly capital goods sector council and automobile sector skill council, iron and steel sector council, they all do the certification program. So either you can get trained under them or an external body come and assess your skills and issue the certificate, which need not be equivalent to the certificate provided by the NCVT ITI welder. But however, now government has come out with a new program of skill qualification frameworks, through which when you each level of qualification framework, when you clear, you are almost becoming an ITI welder or above that. Then you have other bodies like BSS, Bharat Sevak Samaj, another kind of an semi-government body. Then you have National Welder Training Certification Scheme by Indian Institute of Welding. It's a professional body that is coordinating all the welding training programs in India. So they are offering a kind of 1 year kind of course and certification. Then you have National Institute of Open Schooling providing welding training and certification. Then there are other private bodies, which means they have their own independent programs. You undergo that, then they do certification. Sometimes what they do is that if these private bodies, they offer regular course as well as specialized programs. So they all sometimes demand for a basic qualification as ITA welder or any sector skill council certifications. Then we have another specialized certification in the government sector is called IBR, Indian Boiler Regulation Welder. So wherever in big plants, petroleum industries, or wherever this boiler statutory requirements are followed, those areas, if you need to become a welder, you need to qualify yourself as an ITA welder or a sector skill council qualified welder. Then go for the Indian Boiler Regulation Act training program. Then clear that certification. Then you become an IBR welder. Only after that you will be able to do the welding in those areas. Then there is another certification scheme that is newly as proposed, is called RPL and certification. That is called recognition of your prior learning. You need not be a school goer at all. A very typical Indian situation. You just studied your primary school days, then you became kind of a helper in an industry or helper in a small welding engineering firm. Then you worked for 3-4 years, then you learned a little bit, then you slowly pick up this technique by undergoing the training program or maybe visualizing, experiencing, and after maybe 5-6 years you become or maybe 10 years you become a welder. How can you get certificate? So these skills can be assessed by a authorized training companies or authorized training assessment bodies. Then they do a kind of practical and Viva OC examinations through which they get the certificate. Then slowly they can shift over to the National Skill Qualification Framework and certifications under Skill Sector Council. Then he can climb up the ladder and become a real. So these are the general pattern in which a welder can be certified as a recognized welder. The higher qualifications that are available are B.Tech and BE programs in welding engineering and technology is there. The master's also is readily available in welding engineering and technology. Then there is yet another program of bachelor's degree program, or maybe in between bachelor's and post graduation. It is given by Indian Institute of Welding. They give an associated membership in Indian Institute of Welding. So this is another kind of a regular kind of a theoretical program, and minimum project work and practicals are done with your previous welding experience. Then there is another program now. It is picking up very much because of the introduction of the latest technology and robotic welding. So this is called a robotic welding technician. So this course is normally done after maybe your ITA welder course, or maybe after your mechanical engineering diploma, a polytechnic diploma, or even after BE, they go for a short-term course, maybe 3 months to 6 months course, the basics of robotics and all these kind of things, then welding processes, then slowly they become robotic welding technicians. Then we have other qualifications like very short-term courses in specific processes. For example, you become a general welder, or you become a diploma holder or BE holder, but you want to specialize in some kind of special processes and special type of material being used depending on the specialized. For example, I want to work in aeronautic industry, so I specialize in certain type of laser welding, robotic welding, or some high advanced welding processes. So I go for that specific courses, then I get myself trained in that. Or I go for, I want to work in kind of some certain type of atomic industries. For example, atomic power plants also. So you have some special material being used. So you specialize again in special type of work. Or you work in automobile industry. So you have some robotic welding, or maybe spot welding, or this type of stud welding, this type of special forms of welding you learn in that. Or you want to work in ship industry, so you go for some specialization. Or you want to work in pressure vessels work, or you go for that one, or heat exchangers. So depending on the nature of the work, nature of the material, nature of the process, and your basic qualification, experience and interest, you can again choose some short-term courses and get yourself certified, and you can go for better qualifications. These are called international certifications. There is an international unifying body that in welding sector known as International Institute of Welding. So they have in India franchisee as Indian Institute of Welding. So they offer all international programs. You have all these international programs in all these member countries. Around 58 member countries we have. In all these member countries, we have same international welding programs, certification programs. For example, if you do the certification in India, you do the same in Germany, you do it in Australia, in New Zealand, or in Europe, in other countries, the same. The certificate is same and the validity is same, but you fall under that particular country's training pattern. That's all. But all the syllabus, the training program, the certificate validity, all these are same. So in that sector, you have the first program as international welder. International welder, you become a fillet welder, plate welder, tube welder in different processes, in different materials. So this program actually today we have in India 5-6 centers are there, and I am very happy to say that Don Bosco Tech Cochin is the main active center in India. In every year we have around 50 to 60 welders coming out as international welders. Or there are some other centers also, but I think they are not really active. But they do offer some kind of training program in Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore and all, even in Calcutta, but they are not fully active. But here you have full time throughout the year international welder training program and certification happening. Then the next higher level is international welding practitioner. Then you have international welding specialist. Then you have international welding technologist, international welding engineer. So in all these sectors, these are all welding coordination specialist program. For example, if you are already a qualified person as a diploma holder or a kind of a welding B, welding engineer or a mechanical engineer, you can qualify in all these things and become international welding coordinating personnel in different welding projects internationally. So it is recognized all over the world. So and with your experience and your other abilities, you can become a real coordinator. And the second level, another sector it is coming, international welding inspection personnel, IWIP. You have 3 levels: basic, standard and comprehensive. So if you are more interested in welding inspection category, after your higher qualification like your diploma or B or ME programs, you can do these programs. Then you can do the regular study and you become an inspectional person. So either you can become a coordination person or you can become an inspection personnel. And for all more details, you can visit the Indian Institute of Welding site. I have given there iiwindia.com. How the entry procedures, where the centers are in India, how they give the training program, online, offline, alternative routes, standard routes, all details are given there. You may go to. Another international welding program is organized by American Welding Society because they are a very independent leader in this sector. So that's why. So they give a certified welding inspector or certified welding engineer. All these details are available in American Welding Society or their website. You can go through, and it's a very popular program, very popular programs offered by American Welding Society, and internationally very many people hold the certifications. And next one is the Welding Institute UK. So they are also internationally acclaimed institute giving a lot of programs. There's a very popular program is known as CSIP. It's again a welding inspection program. Then American Society for Non-Destructive Testing. This is a non-destructive testing certification program meant for welding engineers who will be certifying or testing all kind of welding program. And you have Canadian Welding Institute, another very popular program, especially for welders. They give Red Seal certification, and you are allowed to internationally practice, especially in Canadian situations. But all these programs, especially the American program, the British program, then Canadian program, all these programs are regularly renewable programs. Between 3 years or 5 years, in between you need to renew. But the other program, offered by International Institute of Welding, by Indian Institute of Welding, they are lifelong diplomas. So that's a major difference. So you can go for lifelong diploma, then specific programs you can go for short-term renewable certifications. So that is the greatest advantage International Institute of Welding is giving through Indian Institute of Welding. So these are the international certifications available for welders, diploma holders, BE Tech engineers, and ME Tech engineers, and anybody who is interested to become a person working in the welding sector. This is called company certifications. Now this is the latest program that is happening. We are very familiar with the company certification like ISO 9001 2015 or ISO 22001 or different certification concerning different industries. So similarly, in welding too, we have company certification because welding is considered as a very special process. So this special process requires a kind of a special follow-up only that will ensure the quality of the weld, the safety of all welded components. If you look around, we are using regularly all welded components all over. If you are flying in the flight, you have a lot of welded components. If you are in the ship, all welded components. If you are in the railway line, all welded components. So the safety of the persons who are traveling or utilizing the bridge, road, any construction, multi skyscrapers, everything you have welded components. So all these welded components, how will you ensure the quality of the process? Okay, companies have ISO 9001 2015, but it is only an administrative qualification system. It never qualifies the process. So you need to go for the process qualification, the machine qualification, all these things. So generally companies go for ISO 3834 qualifications, and or European standards you go for EN 1090, or you go for all rail vehicles you have ISO 15085. Then all the special material you have ISO 17782. All these type of qualification 7782. So when you go for all these qualifications, what happens is that the quality of the product that are being used by the customer, the end user, are really ensured. When any company ensures all these kind of qualifications, what happens is that they require certified welders, they require certified machineries, they require certified procedures. So that's how company certification deliberately demands for a certified welder. So you really need to have certified welders when you need to go for application. That's why the first premise I told is the certified welder and certified application and certified material. So you require this level of certification that is happening in order to in the sense get a certification really implemented from the welder level to the end product level. Let me just have a look at my final slide. Sorry. So very typical Indian situation is that we have very few certified welders. For example, a company, their actual requirement may be 25 welders, but they will maintain only 1 or 2 or 5 certified welders. That's not at all certified welders. And they carry on with all producing all these goods and so on. And they are afraid that the certified welders would leave or they jump over the companies and having a great say on the quality of the final product. So this is a very difficult situation Indian industry is facing. So we need to think international professional certifications of the welders so that it matches with all the international standards. Because some of our Indian standards, for example, ordinary NCVT training program or sector skill program, they do not match up with the international training programs due to lack of training facility, due to lack of training hours, due to lack of qualified trained personnel. Then we need to have a real original say on the skill training and no compromises on standards when we are skilling a youth in India. If you follow all these things, we get very highly qualified or certified welders who will produce